I want to say I can tell by their demeanor that they do not mean to harm us, but really, I know that because we're not dead. None of us were prepared to teleport, and they have us surrounded. The only direction that doesn't have a stack of dwarves is into their mine.
Hail, adventurers.
The one closest to me says, I think it's the one I saw by the river. Hail, I say. They stare at us and we stare back at them.
Well, you're the ones that have been loitering in front of our home. Are you going to make me carry the conversation now?
I know. We were wondering who you are.
Who are we? Who are you?
I'm Aurorican.
Great, I'm Taz. Nice to meet you. Is that all?
I think what my friend means is we thought we were the only ones here. Or even more, we thought we were the only ones that could be here. So we thought perhaps we could talk, or perhaps even help each other.
Julian explains.
Surprise, we're here. 'Twas a good talk. We don't need any help, thanks, though.
Look, Taz, we know you're not supposed to be here. We're curious how you are here. There's no need to be an ass.
Jesse tells him.
We're not allowed here. And I'm an ass. What are you going to do about it, then?
What do you mean there is nothing we can do about it?
There's nothing we can do. Wah, wah, wah.
Taz repeats, pretending to cry. One instant Jesse is standing here talking to the dwarf, and the next instant he is already charged and the dwarf is knocked down to the ground. His charge lands him inside of their mine. All of the dwarves are laughing. Even Taz is having a hard time getting up because he's laughing too hard.
You're not so quick with your tongue, but you make up for it with your shield, lad.
Everyone in the party has their weapons out now, and the dwarves don't seem concerned. Taz looks at Julian and says,
Come on, let's join your friend inside. We can talk there.
I don't think we will.
Look, do you want to talk or not? We'll be inside and the door is open.
The dwarves head inside. Some of them give us a nod or a chuckle as they pass. Others actually greet us with a hail. Jesse walks past Taz on his way to us, and Taz throws himself backwards on the ground. They all laugh again.
What did they say?
Jesse asks, walking back up to us.
They want us to come inside to talk.
Elliot tells him.
And Julian doesn't want us to.
That's right.
They have tables set up. A long line of wooden picnic tables as far into the mine as I can see. It's a feast like we had that first day in the dungeon. It seems clear they don't want to harm us. Why wouldn't we join them?
Jesse turns and walks back inside. All of us, including Julian, follow him in. Taz is waiting for us at the entrance and invites us to the table closest to the entrance. No dwarves between us and our exit. After we're settled, Taz brings his plate over to our table and sits at the head of it.
Mind if I join ya?
Please do, I tell him.
Thanks, friends.
I believe I saw you by the river a few days ago.
'Twas I. I'm sorry for not greeting you, but the time was not right.
He butters some bread, pinches some brisket between it and takes a bite.
Now, do you know why you're here?
Well, as we said, we wanted to see what you all were about. We didn't think anyone else was supposed to live here.
Right. That is why you came to this mountain. But do you know why you are on this planet?
I shake my head no.
I've come to think of it as a dungeon.
Hannah says.
For you, that is more accurate. Even so, do you know why you are here?
They said that.
They signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Julian interrupts.
Of course. Thankfully, what is said in these halls cannot be heard by the Scaran Guard. In fact, they don't even know you're in here. But I would not want ye to violate a non-disclosure agreement. You have your honor to think of, after all.
I can't tell if he's joking or not.
We, the dwarves, were not summoned here like you. We have arrived here via our own means to mine this planet.
How could they possibly not know what is going on here? They can see everything, everywhere inside of the dungeon. Plus, why dig into the mountain if you want to mine this planet? Everything is made out of the same stuff.
Everything here is indeed made out of the same stuff. But once it's made into something else, it's no longer what it originally was. Now is it? The Scaran God invented the narrate, and they turn narrate into whatever they want via frequencies. They have an entire library of frequencies they use to create what they wish on the fly. They do conduct surveillance with narrate objects, and we're able to interrupt that here. We are able to show them whatever we want because we have reverse engineered the frequencies for some objects. Starting with ore, of course. Because, you know, that's what dwarves are into. Hence the reason we are mining the planet. Recently, we managed to decode the sand outside, and we are showing a clip of all of you by the fire, cooking dinner. At least we hope. We have never done this before.
So do they even know you're here?
Oh yes, we didn't have much figured out when we arrived. We needed samples to get started. All that we really had was a theory. We arrived before all of you, with perhaps the exception of the Foxian, and they watched us until the time that the rest of you arrived.
Why would they allow you to be here?
There are two superpowers in this galaxy. Us, the Dwarven Kingdom, and them, the Scaran God. We are at peace right now and have been for a long time. That doesn't make us friends, but we don't want to be enemies either. If they knew we would decode the narrate, they probably would have started a war before we arrived here. But frankly, I don't think they believed we could do it. We're a mundane people.
Mundane dwarves.
Polly corrects him, and I cringe. Why would he say that?
Dwarves are people too, Sunshine.
He's special. If you're both superpowers and at peace, why not be allies? Perhaps you could help them develop Name It into something beneficial for the both of you. They might have the creation of it figured out, but you could help them with application.
That's a little philosophical, isn't it? Why aren't the superpowers at your home always allies? Maybe it's good for our development to have a rival and/or potential enemy. Maybe we haven't advanced enough socially. We have world peace on our planet and our solar system, but not the entire galaxy. We're doing pretty good, in my opinion.
So you can leave this place anytime you want?
Pretty much. I can't just get up from this table and go. Interplanetary travel is a big deal. I'm in charge of this mine, but our government is in charge of our ships. But if I had a reason, and they approve, we could be on our way by tomorrow.
We don't seem to be the center of attention, and I kinda expected to be after the way we were greeted. Around us, everyone is chatting and laughing. Silence sits at our table for a moment while we eat. The food is really good. It got a little cold while waiting for us, and the meat has seasoning that I don't recognize. It isn't bad. I just wish it was seasoned the way I like it, heavy on the salt and garlic. But when you eat once a day, everything tastes better. Polly is eating an uncooked skinned squirrel. He must not have been the first Aviaka that these dwarves have met.
We cannot whisk you away, if that's what you were thinking. It would be a political disaster.
Why? It's not like they own us. They took us against our will, and besides, you're already stealing from them.
Sure, but that's not how they see it. They are helping you. If we interfere and take you away, they will say we are hurting you and stunting your growth as a species. We'll mess up their experiment, and they'll accuse us of sabotaging them as well. It would be a mess.
What's this dinner about then? Are you really telling us about yourselves so that we'll get off your front lawn?
No, of course not. We have a mission for you.
As he says it, another dwarf walks up to the table and drops off a box.
Howdy.
He says with a nod before heading back to whichever table he came from. I guess they don't have inventories.
You can think of this as a Faraday cage, but like a souped-up space dwarf Faraday cage. What we need is for you to put something into it that's going to be patched. But before it's patched, so we can compare the old with the new. We believe once it is taken out of the cage, it will be changed to the updated patched version, and if we can observe that happen, we can potentially learn how to do it as well.
What do you mean, patched?
You know, when the Scaran God updates something on the planet and it changes.
Why would we do this?
We can help you. We can help you win or get off this planet.
I don't think cheating will help us in the end.
And I thought you just explained why you can't help us get off this planet.
What rule are you breaking that makes you cheating if we help you? Have they ever specifically said you cannot receive outside help? And I said we can't help you right now. Right now isn't forever.
How would you help us win?
We're learning how to make everything. Surely out of everything, there's something we can give you to ensure your victory. Perhaps a weapon, perhaps a key, who knows? But something will come up.
What makes you think they'll let us get away with this? They'll see us with the Faraday cage and stomp us out. At the very least, take the cage away, but I believe they'll harm us.
Keep the cage in your inventory. Transfer the item into it without removing it from your inventory. You can do that with containers to help stay organized. If you place the cage in your inventory now and don't remove it until you get back in here, they won't know unless they specifically audit your inventory. Don't give them a reason to do that.
You're asking all of us for help, but only one of us can win. I don't see this ending fairly. Even if you help us escape this planet, where would we go, or what we do?
Sure, only one of you can win and be the ruler of your homeworld. But do any of you really want that? Sounds like a headache to me. Regardless, what I'm really offering you is safety. One of you wins and all of you go back home, and you know some asshole won't take over. If I'm misjudging you and you all want to rule, well, you can rule together. One of you leaves as king or queen and the rest of you go as advisors. As for where you would go if you caught a ride out of here, home, I imagine. Before you ask, I cannot tell you anything about the state of your home planet. Even if I did tell you everything I know, it would only raise more questions. I don't know any detail you would want to know. I have no idea how your particular favorite human is doing, nor do I have a way to communicate with them for you. Your planet is simply off limits for conversation.
Everyone must be full because no one is eating anymore. Some of the dwarves are still talking to each other at the other tables, but a lot of them have left, and it's getting quieter in here. Some lady dwarves are coming around picking up the plates. I note that they do not have beards. Good. I always thought that was kind of weird.
We'll do it.
Jesse says.
But we're risking our neck now. There's no telling what the Scaran God will do if they catch us with that box. We need something that can help us.
What did you have in mind?
Jesse as your guide, the person meant to keep you alive and is here with the sole purpose of helping. I warn you, do not do this. It will cause you trouble.
I trust your intentions are to help, but that doesn't mean you're right. I think this is the correct thing to do.
Your decision affects everyone here. As a party, we need to put it to vote.
Fine. All who want to partner with the dwarves, raise your hand.
Jesse, Polly, Hannah, and myself all put our hands up. I feel like a student in class waiting to ask a question. I put my hand back down before asking Elliot, why not?
This is the kind of thing that will get you in trouble. If you're caught, you'll likely just be killed. They won't even make an example out of you. There will be a building that falls on you, or a monster will get an unlucky hit. No one will question your death. They'll just get rid of you. Or if they decide that your offense doesn't warrant death, but must still be punished, you'll be back here for some other planet's trial, doing exactly what I'm doing. It's a terrible idea. You're taking a huge risk for a reward that you're not even sure you want. What happened to just riding this out until someone wins and you can go home?
What happens if someone like those people who tried to kill us yesterday wins? There is no question what that was about. They were trying to kill their competition to help ensure their victory. What is someone like that going to do if they win? I don't have ambition to return and take a seat of power, but I also don't want someone like that to.
So even if the dwarves can get you out of this, you will stay to complete the trial. Your intention is to win now.
I'll make that decision when it's time to. I've never seen Elliot so mad, but he's keeping it contained. Polly speaks next.
You're dwarves. Can you give us armor or something to protect us while we help you?
Negative. If you're wearing dwarven armor, someone will notice that you probably shouldn't have it. Plus, I'm not actually convinced you will help us after you leave here. Your party is divided.
We will help you, but you need to give us something in return.
We gave you this lovely meal and promise you a reward when you keep your quest. Why is that not enough?
Because we are risking our lives. How about more food? These people eat fruit for dinner most nights, and I don't think it's good for their digestive system. You would not believe the sounds that come out of this one when he leaves our shelter in the middle of the night.
He jerks a thumb at me. Taz gives a heavy sigh and acts like he's really thinking hard about it.
Fine. We will give you each 14 meals. That should give you 2 weeks to finish your quest and return to us. Do not return until you have finished. We do not need the extra attention around here.
2 weeks? I suppose it would be a shame if we ate twice a day. He ignores me and stands up.
I must go and report what we have discussed. Someone will bring your supplies in a moment. It was nice meeting all of you.
He gives Jesse a nod, smiles and waves to Polly, then the rest of us. There is silence after he leaves. The party has disagreed, and that isn't good. But the right people are agreeing at least. The summoned are in agreement, and the guides are in agreement. This seems like the natural order of things. When they bring us the food, we immediately split it up and put it in our inventories. Elliot shows us how to equip it out of our inventory, which puts it directly into our mouths. It's difficult to get right. I keep equipping too much, and I'm over full already. I'll practice that another time. We thank the dwarves and promise to see them again soon. They are all very pleasant, and I'm pretty sure drunk. Or maybe that's just their personality. I'm not entirely sure. The walk back feels a lot faster than the walk there. I suppose it was too, knowing right where we were going. I wonder if they somehow matched the recording they were showing to the surveillance system to us departing out of their area. Or if we just kind of popped back in when we got out of their area. I'm guessing it's the latter, which makes me uncomfortable. I look for a random tree falling on me or a rolling boulder. All seems to be normal, though. On one hand, why out of over 1 billion people would the Scaran Guard be watching me? On the other, they were watching me, right? They changed my voice. If I am under scrutiny, would Jesse be as well since he's with me? He's the one with the box. I try to push these thoughts out of my mind for the time being. There isn't anything I can do about it, and there's no way to know if I should even be worried. I should probably be worried, but still, what can I do? Besides, how am I supposed to know this isn't just part of the trial? If they don't want us interacting with the dwarves, they can get rid of the dwarves. When we get back to mine and Elliot's camp, everyone decides to carry on to their own rest areas. We have hours of daylight left, and it's been a while since we made progress on our campsites. Elliot and I spend the rest of the day roughing out a second room and an entryway to our building. The walls are not windproof, and there is no roof, but I feel we made incredible progress. I suppose it's thanks to our increased strength. I can easily rip smaller branches off logs that I would usually have to cut, and I can hold them in place while I secure them very quickly without tiring. I want to ask Elliot what he thinks about the whole situation with the dwarves, but it doesn't feel safe, so I don't mention anything. The dragon bone. I keep forgetting about it. I need to see what I get out of it.
That's right. We really need to see what we're getting from these. I'll get the fire going.
I gather more firewood while he gets it started. This is a process that I have discovered I enjoy. It gives me the same feeling that Easter egg hunting gave me as a kid. Scavenging around, looking for the best pieces of wood to burn. It's funner back home where people often use the same campsite that 100 other people have used in recent years. There's a lot less around, so each piece found is a bigger win. When the fire is up and roaring, we simply throw the dragon bones in like they're extra logs. Now that I have some extra food in my inventory, it's tempting to eat while we sit by the fire, but I choose to ration it and keep mealtime to once a day, and I drink water instead. I honestly do feel better only eating once a day. I don't get such a strong desire to take a nap halfway through the day, and it's hard to tell what's just from leveling up in the dungeon and what is from my new habits, but I feel leaner and stronger. I reckon I'll keep this up even once I get back to Earth. I ask Elliot, how will we know when the dragon bones are ready?
The flames will turn red for a minute, and you'll get a notification in your chat log.
Fantastical.
Please don't say it like that.
It isn't cold out, but it still feels nice sitting by the fire. I look at our little home base, and I like it a lot. I enjoyed building forts as a kid, too. They say we're supposed to be safe here, but I have a nagging feeling that I should build some defenses into this place before I call it done. After roasting the dragon bones for about an hour, the fire turns a dark red and a geyser of flame erupts into the air, tinting the world around us in red. For a moment, it looks like we're on a new Mars, a terraformed and healthy planet, no longer a desert but teeming with life. Or at least so I imagine.
That's it! They're ready!
The flame is still burning red but settles back down to its appropriate size.
Your bounty awaits!
Appears in the chat log, and Elliot knocks the bones onto the ground.
They need to cool for a while. Then we'll break them open like you did with the class key.
Should I expect to be assaulted by dragon fire or an earthquake?
You should be fine. I've never seen dragon bones do anything so dramatic.
I give it a few minutes, then pick up the dragon bone. It is a few feet long and much lighter now that it has burned for a while. While standing, I raise one knee and pull the dragon bone against the front of it. I expect the bone to crack open, but it crumbles instead.
You have received a new trophy! Dragon Bounty!
My chat log also indicates that an item has been deposited in my treasure chest. I walk over to it and lift it open to find a scroll inscribed with fancy calligraphy reading archery +25. I got a plus 25 archery scroll. I tell Elliot.
That's great! You are way less likely to harm your party now.
Sometimes I question Elliot's social skills. Then I remember he's a fox. He probably finds his answer to be perfectly friendly. And what did you get?
I got a fedora that allows me to turn invisible for short periods of time.
That's amazing. And it seems way better than my item.
Don't be jealous. The rarity of the rewards from these is random, and your reward will help you tremendously in and out of the dungeon.
I want to visit the others to see if they remembered their dragon bones, but I think everyone needs a little personal time at their own rest areas. I can't say if it's the same for them, but being in my rest area really does help me mentally recharge. I remember I can just message them. Aurorikin, did y'all open your dragon bones?
Polly, I got a dagger that leeches a small amount of life from a target when I hit it.
Elliot, I received a magic hat that lets me briefly turn invisible.
Julian, I was given a spell that I can cast once a day that prevents someone from dying. If their health goes negative, it goes back up to 1. 1 time.
Hannah, to be honest, I forgot.
Jesse, me too. I wonder what those two are up to.
Elliot says in person. I think Jesse may be giving her an extra bone.
Nonsense. They are lore items.
Polly, what did you get, Aurorikin?
Aurorikin, I got a skill scroll. I'm now up to 27 in archery.
Polly, very nice.
What are we going to do when we go back in? I don't have anything to tie off to for us to get to the next platform. I ask Elliot outside the group chat again.
I've been wondering about that too. Usually somebody has a spell that helps out in this situation. I kinda wonder if Hannah's dragon bone will give us something to use. But we better not count on it. I bet we can find something here that would help us. Perhaps we might be able to get a heavy enough rock into your inventory to tie onto, but that would only be good enough for 1 or 2 platforms, and we got a really long ways to go.
So why not a couple logs to make a bridge? If we hold on to them, will they teleport in with us?
We could probably get the dungeon to allow them into an inventory, but yes, as long as we're supporting the majority of their weight, they should go with us.
Why not do both? Inventory and carry. We spend the last of our hours before bed searching out good logs. As long as they are 15 feet long, they'll be plenty long to reach each platform. If we tie them together, they shouldn't want to roll, and if we have somebody on one end holding them, hopefully that will be enough for them to not slide. I figure it's not a waste of time. Any of these logs that we don't use, which should be all of them that are in our inventories, we can just use for building up our base when we get back. We split the stock of them in case one of us falls. I'm pretty confident we don't need to worry about that, but it would sure be a bummer for the only person with extra logs to fall with the bridge. We lay the 2 logs we want to be holding when we teleport in, outside our doorway for easy access in the morning. If we don't use the extra logs, there should be enough to build our roof tomorrow. Before going to bed, I tell my wife and kids good night. I do this out loud, and Elliot doesn't acknowledge it. I appreciate it, because what can he say? I have decided this is routine for me now, and it's the only time of day I allow myself to think about them. It makes me sad, but it would be worse to completely disconnect myself from them. I wonder if Elliot ever said goodnight to anyone back home. I want to ask him, but I think if he ever wants to talk about that, he can bring it up. If I ever stop saying goodnight to my family, I sure won't want to explain that to anyone. But I can't imagine that happening